Heavy Cardboard, episode 34, late 2015 preview show. Coming to you from the I Wish We Went to Essen House of Jealousy, Denver, Colorado. Welcome to Heavy Cardboard, where we talk medium-heavy strategy board games, war games, 18xx, and other related topics in the board gaming hobby. We're your hosts.
I am Tony.
And I am Edward.
Edward, tell folks how to contact Heavy Cardboard, please.
All right. Well, if you Google Heavy Cardboard, you'll find us. But if you don't want to do that, at Heavy Cardboard's our Twitter. Email us, contact@heavycardboard.com. Our website, heavycardboard.com. Facebook, Heavy Cardboard. BGG Guild number 2044. We're quickly approaching 500 people. Come join the discussion. We love having all the... just everybody talking about, especially with Essen here, all the games, and just the chatter has been often and lengthy in a good way.
The thread of gameplays that will be entering the guild over the course of the next 2 months is going to be incredible.
Yeah, it should be fun.
All these new games.
Again, BGG Guild number 2044. Last but not least, thanks for the iTunes review to Sam957. Braxton, an enemy of the world.
Yeah.
Also, thanks to a new service that Tony discovered, we found out we have some reviews left for us over in Sweden and Iceland that haven't gotten their due, so we apologize. A big thanks to Oscar Arneson over in Iceland, and Tara Galinas and Christopher P. over in Sweden. Woo. Those are very, very much appreciated. It's helping get us closer to the front page of the Hobbies podcast on iTunes. So please keep the reviews coming, guys. We really, really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. And also thanks to Game Surplus, the sponsor of Heavy Cardboard. Good people, great reputation, great inventory of games. A lot of imports, hard to find games. I imagine that Velma is going to be stocking up on a bunch of the Essen releases and everything. So, let her know what you guys want. Games at gamesurplus.com. Visit their site, www.gamesurplus.com. Tell them Heavy Cardboard sent you, please.
Yeah, just remember that they're going to get hammered with requests for games to get in
soon.
So be patient with them, because I imagine they're going to get a ridiculous number of emails. But no, seriously, if you guys would just throw in, hey, Heavy Cardboard, mentioned you guys, and we wanted to see if they have copies of Food Chain Magnate or Burano or whatever it is that you guys are wanting. This list coming up, this episode is going to be all about that. So, hit them up.
Thanks again to Game Surplus for sponsoring a contest we announced in our last episode, and our winner is Jonathan Bennett. I believe he goes by Aaron. So, Jonathan/Aaron Bennett, drop us an email at contest@heavycardboard.com, and we will get you hooked up with Game Surplus and a gift certificate. His 3 anticipated Essen releases were Food Chain Magnate, Nippon, and Tin Goose. So I have a feeling he's going to kind of like this episode.
Big thanks again to Game Surplus, and congrats, whatever your real name is.
So what's going on?
A lot.
Yes. Let me get some unpleasant business taken care of.
Sure. Absolutely.
This episode is coming out late. My father-in-law's passing and everything. So I just wanted to thank everybody for the condolences they passed to my wife through me on Twitter and email and geek mail even and stuff like that. It was really, really sweet. We have just a really cool extended family around here with Heavy Cardboard.
Right.
And
good community.
My wife really appreciated it. Thanks, guys.
Rock on. Good. I'm glad to hear it. It's I know it's been a rough week for you. More so for her.
Yeah.
But even so, I mean, family's family,
Absolutely. Wife and I have been married 32 years, so I've known Randy quite a long time.
Sure.
He's a good man.
Well, I'm sorry, but hopefully he's not in pain.
No more suffering, baby.
Yeah, so good deal on that.
On to happier things.
All right, so what'd you do last weekend? I only ask because I know what we were not doing, and that was embracing the craziness that was Essen.
Well, I did watch some BGG feed.
Right, well, I did too, but so a bummer we didn't get the chance to enjoy that. Next year, however, that may change.
I hope so.
The
plan is to send you.
Yeah, that's just because you don't want to go.
Well, it's not that I don't want to go, but...
Okay, so
I don't want to go.
So yeah, Kickstarter coming soon. No, just kidding. Although we will have a Patreon coming.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we'll figure it out.
So on a personal note, so I asked to be reassigned to a different position at work, and honestly, since it got okayed and everything, I've been much happier since the move took place. Yeah, it's better for my back because I'm not climbing all over helicopters and everything anymore. But it's more or less mental health, quality of life, just in a better place mentally with all that.
More Twitter time.
Just less stress. I mean, I'm in the back shop building harnesses and building the things that are going into the aircraft. So I'm happier.
Cool.
So at least temporarily, and we'll leave it at that. So yeah, that's good. So I am dragging some serious ass today because I got about,
let me check,
3.5
holy crap,
4 hours of sleep last night because Amanda and I went to go see Of Monsters and Men and excuse me, in concert. Amazon, which is Swedish, and Borns open forum. So we had Swedish and Icelandic reviews on iTunes Live for us. Right. And last night we saw a Swedish and Icelandic band. Seems apropos.
Well, you have to leave those bands some English reviews.
Right. I'm big Of Monsters and Men fan, and it was a really, really good show. A lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah, it was good. I just wish it was at Red Rocks, because Red Rocks is the best venue on the planet.
Was it Pepsi Center?
No, it was at the First Banks.
In Broomfield.
Yeah.
Cool. Right
so let's see.
I saw Black Sabbath there.
Oh, right on. Extra Life is coming in less than a month. Should be a lot of fun with Mark from Board Game Corner, Brett from Nauvoo Games, and our buddy Scott, or Skippin, from BGG, and a whole bunch of other people. Lenny, the crazy Kermit avatar.
Sure. Yeah.
He'll be there. But anyway, we're going to the Haunted Game Cafe north of Denver in Fort Collins, and we're hoping we can raise some money for a great cause and have a lot of fun with folks gaming.
Children's hospitals.
Yep. So we really would greatly appreciate any donations folks are willing to give, and we'll have a link in the show notes. The reason I'm laughing is Tony got us a couple of, I guess they're hats. I don't know what what you call them.
They go on your head.
Their elephant has a massive. If you guys go onto YouTube, we just did a Periscope unboxing of Imperious Milenarios. We just got a copy today.
Maybe we can get Amanda to tweet a picture of us.
Yeah, I'm sure she will.
Yeah.
So, oh boy. All right. Anyway, no, they're really funny looking. Really cool. So let's see a couple other things. BGG Con related. I'm buying too many games in a virtual flea market. Shocking, I know. Also, speaking of BGG Con, I'm running a beginner's game, possibly two, of 1846 on Tuesday night at BGG Con. So technically before it officially opens, but we get there Tuesday afternoon. We'll be there Tuesday night, and I'm trying to pay it forward with a couple of guild training games, 1846. So if you're interested, let me know.
I get it. Training.
Ha! It really was on accident, but that makes it better, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Trains also make everything better.
We are having the Heavy Cardboard Gathering on Thursday night at BGG Con in room 1113 at 8 p.m. Come into the guild on BGG, mention it, and hopefully we see you there. We'll have a bunch of giveaways and stuff like that. And it's possible we may have some big-time designers stopping by. So, that'll be fun to meet everybody. Last but not least, the Heavy Cardboard Secret Elephant, or Secret Santa, targets have been assigned.
Yes, they have.
I think the final count was 24 elephants in the exchange.
Cool.
Should be a lot of fun. I know I'm going to have a lot of fun with it.
Did you get me?
I did not. Did you get me?
I did not.
Okay. All right, good. There is one other thing I wanted to mention.
Thank God, because that means I get an extra present now, right? One from you, one from
and then one from the Secret Elephant, right. So we started Periscoping. We've done a couple of unboxings. We did it when we got Food Chain Magnate, and we did it now with Imperious Milenarios. And we're also doing kind of little Q&As and stuff. That's cool if you're not familiar with it. It's a little like instant film, interaction. You guys
Twitter
can ask questions. Yeah, you guys can ask us questions. So keep an eye on that on Twitter, and we'll be doing that periodically. That's all I got. You got anything else?
No, sir.
All right.
What new games have entered the family?
Nothing really.
Nothing?
No.
Cool. Me neither. All right. So what have you been... And you've not been playing anything either.
No, right. No, all right. First off, obviously, Food Chain Magnate. Joris and Jeroen were kind enough to send ours a little bit ahead of the most everyone else.
Thank you, fellas.
So very much thank you. Not that they're listening, but still. So we've gotten a few games of that in. That's been fantastic. Also having arrived is Imperious Milenarios, which arrived just before we started recording.
Way cool.
Very cool Civ game. We'll talk about that more in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Also got a copy of Panthalos, which is a worker placement with direct conflict in it. It's from Essen last year. Completely flew under the radar. And nobody's talking about it, so I'm really anxious to give it a try and see if it's a bust or if it's just, one of those games like Craftsman that just didn't have any buzz and ended up being a really good game. So I'm excited to try that. Got a What's Your Game? Asgard. Another worker placement, kind of off the beaten path.
Vikings. Vikings.
There you go. I got one game that was 3 years in the making. It's an expansion for one of the very first games that I ever bought when I got into the hobby, and that's the Conflict of Heroes solo expansion. When I bought the game, it came with the solo expansion when it was ready. They said it'd be a couple months. 3 years later, finally got it. So yay, Academy Games. Thanks for getting that out finally. Last but not least, Amateurs to Arms. I actually purchased that from a listener in the Great White North. So thanks for that. War game.
What is the theme?
It's a War of 1812.
All right, just Amateurs to Arms. I was thinking American Civil War.
You could make an argument that it could be that. It could be the Revolutionary War. I get it. Sure.
Cool. Right on.
Yeah. So how about you? What have you acquired, sir?
Wallace's Rise of Empires. Thank you, Velma. Imperial 2030. I found a copy in Canada, and it's the PD Verlag version. So it's got the board is cool because it's German on one side and English on the other side. So I kind of dig that.
I'm excited to be able to play both that and the Imperial because I have Imperial and we can compare and contrast.
Yeah, I would like one of our episodes to include such a conversation.
Yep.
I bought the Isle of Skye because it's got a market thing in there. You can set the prices. You know how I am, but I was clever and I said, "Look, honey, look at this tile laying game. You like tile laying games?" So yeah, it's pretty cool.
So you snookered her into it?
Yeah, she's like, "Yes, I think I would like that." So
right,
she did actually.
Cool.
So yeah, that's cool. She always makes piles of money, so I'm always hosed. Let's see.
It's a good thing she's in charge of your finances.
Yes. 1849 made it. Medici. Let's see. Kleiker. I made my own copy of Neue Heimat. Thanks, dude.
For those that don't know,
I still want the one you got. I'll give mine away, my homemade one away. But
so long story short, our buddy Matt imported some copies of Neue Heimat before.
Your buddy? No, I'm kidding, man. Matt's a great guy.
Before the company went under, and he asked anybody if they wanted copies, and Paul Chad actually got me a copy already, so I didn't need one, and so Tony was like, "Yeah, I'll take one," and that was a year ago.
I don't know,
6 months, 8 months. It was
Scotch has aged to a drinkable state. No, I'm kidding. I like Kleiker a lot.
No, yeah. But no, that'd be cool because if and when you ever get your copy, we can then give away a copy of Neue Heimat.
Yeah. If someone wants a homemade one, sure.
Why wouldn't they? It's an awesome game.
So I know in terms of hunting anticipating, that's what this episode's about for both of us. But there was one thing that I discovered in my research for this episode that won't be out till next year. But
why are we talking about it?
Well, because it really sounded interesting to me. So
do you know how many games
on my anticipation list right now?
Do you know how many games coming out in 2016 I'm excited about? But I didn't talk about it. I called my list. No.
Fine.
No, go ahead. What is it? Because now it's been built up. I'm curious.
Race to Berlin?
Yep. Saw it.
Dude.
I know.
2-player block games where I'm the Russians and the Germans and you're the Russians and the Germans. excuse me, you're the Russians and the Germans, I'm the Americans and the Germans. So my Germans are facing your Russians, and your Germans are facing my Americans?
No, it sounded pretty cool, yeah.
The result of the race creates the post-war spheres of influence and stuff. So anyway, sounds kind of cool.
My only concern, and it's not fair, but Race to the Rhine was kind of Yeah. I'm worried
that wasn't a block war game. That was a...
Fair enough.
Something else, so...
Fair enough.
What have you been playing, man?
So a little game called Food Chain Magnate.
Yes.
I played it.
I've heard of this.
Yeah, I've played it 3 times so far.
Once here.
And there are a bunch more planned in the upcoming weeks between this episode and next episode. Open Rails. That was a bit of a franking game.
Yeah, I was really disappointed in that.
Yeah, that flopped bad. Yeah. And I don't think just
because it was... You nailed it. You said, well, it just feels like a whole bunch of other crap piled together. So.
Yeah, it did not work. Games, yeah. Played Steel Driver. Taught you that.
Yeah, it was awesomely fun.
Yep.
I really enjoyed that.
I did it as well. Also busted out a game of Neue Heimat.
Yep.
Which is always a win. Steamworks, you taught that. The game day.
Tasty
you played
Minstrel.
it a couple times.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Pretty cool little build your own worker placement action spaces.
Build your own victory point machines.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was pretty cool. Viticulture with Tuscany. I hesitated to put this in because I started the game and then Robin showed up and she jumped into the game.
In your place.
Right, in my place, and then I proceeded to win through Robin. So
right.
That was cool.
And you and I got to play Steamworks.
Yeah. So. Let's see, got 2 others. We got Dungeon Pets. Finally got that played.
Tell me.
That was really cool, dude.
All right.
Absolutely adorable. Like the theme. Really, really well done throughout the entire game. And dude, heavy, like thinky, hard. It has more weight to it than I expected. I wouldn't put it up there with, Venus or anything like that, but it had more weight than I expected, and it was I was pleasantly surprised.
Cool.
Last one, 1857, which is from the Winsome subscription this year. So it's 1830 set in Argentina. Wait, we just got an Argentinian
Imperious,
game. Yeah, rock on. So my take on it, fun, tough, and fast.
Yeah, and pimped.
Yeah, your copy is pimped. Mine is not.
We don't
so much.
play with construction paper shares around here.
So we had a question when we were going through setting it up and everything, because we started at like 8, 9 o'clock at night.
We did,
and we had a question about the off-board locations, like because it's all white and black, and
instead of like multicolored, 2 colors.
And so, I took it upon myself. I said, "Okay, hey, I'll just call John Bohr, who is Winsome Games.
His number's in the rules.
Yeah, he gives his number in every copy of a game he puts out. However, we forgot he was in Essen, so he wasn't home. But I went ahead and left voicemail.
Right.
Because why not? So Monday night, we're playing Food Chain Magnate here at the house. And he called.
That's right.
And I looked at my phone and I saw Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh. And Paul Chad looked over at me and said, "How much you want to bet it's for?" So I answered it. "Hey, John." And he was really friendly. And I told him, "Hey, we already we figured out the answer to our own question." But he's like, "No worries. I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to call back and everything." And he was still jet lagged from Essen and everything. But while I had him on the phone, I thought, why waste the opportunity? So I asked him if we could do an interview with him after the holidays, and he agreed. So look for that in early 2016. That should be a lot of fun.
It will be indeed.
And we'll finally get the answer.
We'll get a conference call.
Yeah.
Him. It'll be John Bohr, Harry Wu, and David V.H. Peters.
Right.
All on the phone together.
So we're gonna finally get an answer. Is John Bohr really Harry Wu?
And all of those guys.
Right. So that's what I got. How about
you?
Cool.
In addition to the things that you and I played together that you mentioned, I got some plays of Medici in, Flower Power in, Downfall of Pompeii.
Which is always fun.
Always fun. Patchwork and American Rails.
And what were your thoughts on American Rails?
It was very winsome-y.
Okay.
And it was very, very cool. the way the board developed was really pretty exciting. And Tony KR said, "Wow, this is like a Winsome that I can actually get other people to play
because it's prettier." Right?
Well, because it's prettier, and I don't know, maybe. Well, I don't know. I mean, it felt like a Winsome to me, so I figure hey, if you can get somebody to play that, you can get somebody to play any of the Winsomes. So
cool.
But this is not a Winsome, of course.
No, it's a Quinn game.
Quinted, yeah, and it's a derivative of Chicago Express.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I'm anxious to get a play in that in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Interesting turn order mechanic.
Cool. All right, so we got our copy of Food Chain Magnate, and I've played it 3 times in the first 3 days that we had it, and we decided we're going to review it next episode.
I played it once, plus a virtual play. More on that later.
Okay. But since we have it, and almost nobody else has played the game, at least here in the States, we thought, why don't we do kind of like a mini trailer? High-level trailer or whatever.
But, without giving away too much, because, we're going to talk about this game a lot in our next episode. In fact, in sitting together at the table before we started recording tonight, we were talking about various points of the game, and we had a lot of actual disagreements on perceptions you had versus me and me versus you, as well as agreements.
Right.
And we're like, wow, next episode is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree. The reason we were kind of going over it is because unlike any other episode that we've done before, we've never done a trailer on one episode and then gone straight into a review on the next one. So we don't want to say too much, and take away from that, because that's going to be feature-packed next episode.
Yeah, it will be. It should be some interesting discussion.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
You taught me the game the other night, and so that was my one play. My virtual play was I dreamed Food Chain Magnate.
Which is so crazy.
That night when I went to bed, I dreamed about placing my restaurants and weren't worrying about where the doors were and everything.
Had you taken any Ambien that night? Okay,
no,
all right.
No, so I wrote Joris and Jeroen and said, "Dudes, thanks, you made me dream about your game."
That's pretty awesome, man.
Food Chain Magnate, logistics game, right? Like so many Splotter titles, it's a logistic economic game at its heart. And, the main engine to those logistics are the distance between the houses and the restaurants, and what the houses demand and what your restaurants cook. That's the heart of the logistical puzzle. And then it's a hand management game, too, where you're able to build your deck by selecting cards that you want in your deck, but it's not really a deck builder, because it's not like
you're not drawing from a deck. You have full access to your entire deck.
I can play the same cards every turn if I want, right? That kind of a thing. So it's really about managing what cards you want in your hand. And I do say management because the more cards you get, the more money it's going to cost you, of course. So it's not a stereotypical deck building. There's limits to how many of those cards you can play in a turn, but the way that you can manage the mechanic to play more cards is really smart and thematic, I think, too. So
it's put together very well.
And for me personally, this is definitely the type of quote-unquote business economic game that I enjoy. I'm doing what businesses do when I'm playing that game. What markets can I dominate? What markets can I move into? Whoops, sorry, nothing personal, just business. That's the kind of business echo games that I'm into, and so far this one's looking good.
Yeah, having 3 plays of it under my belt now. It's one of those games to where I legitimately think 20 plays, I could see myself playing it and not being bored of it, not burning out and all that. So I'm excited about it. Real quick, production quality is as good, if not better, than Great Zimbabwe, which in my opinion was their high watermark for production quality.
It's got hamburger meeples,
right, and lemonade.
It's awesome.
And to be honest with you, relatively low rules overhead.
Yeah.
The rules get out of the way fairly quickly, and it's all about getting into the meat of the game.
It's all about what's between your ears.
Yeah, it's we are. I don't want to say pleasantly surprised, because I don't think that's fair, because I had high expectation. I
Yeah.
mean, this was about as high a expectation as I had for any game in Essen.
Yeah, in the context of the rest of this episode about expectations of games coming out later this year, this was definitely high on both of our lists in terms of anticipation and expectation.
And up to this point, it has not disappointed.
Sure.
I'll leave it at that. So check it out next episode, guys. We hope you guys enjoy that as much as we do. That's Food Chain Magnate. All right, so you're going to tell the folks a little bit about the Knizia classic, Medici.
Yes, indeed. I love auction games. I know you do too. Paul Chad as well. And Medici is an auction game that I've wanted to get a copy of for a long time, having always played a friend's copy.
Right.
And the iPad version. So it was time to just get a physical copy, I thought. So Medici is a 1995 design by the famous Dr. Knizia.
He of the bow ties.
He of the bow ties, really?
Yeah, he loves his bow ties.
Interesting. I have a 1997 print from Rio Grande Games. That'll matter as we talk. And it plays about 6 players and 10 minutes per player, roughly. What's going on in the game is over the course of 3 rounds, the players are going to auction off sets of goods that are drawn from a deck of cards that are those goods. Later versions of the game have tiles that you pull from a bag, right? After each round, the goods that a person has acquired and loaded onto their ships will earn money for their owners. At the end of 3 rounds, the player with the most cash wins. Money is victory points, right? So a player to create this set of goods, this offering, is going to draw from 1 to 3 cards from that deck to form an offering. The deck will consist of 5 different kinds of goods. Each type of good has 7 cards. They're numbered 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. There's 2 5s. With fewer than 6 players, some cards are removed from the deck, so you can never quite be sure what the mix of goods and values is going to be, unless you're playing with 6, and then it's Katie bar the door. So, that offering of 1 to 3 cards is then auctioned off to the highest bidder. And if nobody bids, those cards are out of the game for that round. So, you could end up in a situation where there won't be enough cards to go around at some point in that round. So each player has a ship that can only hold 5 said cards. So if I win an offering of 3 cards, that's going to take up 3 of my 5 slots in my hold. And now I can only bid on offerings of 1 or 2 cards. So if Ed likes to pull 3 cards, then I'm going to sit and watch all you guys bid for that, right?
Which is very much a strategic decision.
Yeah, yes. Players can definitely cut you out of certain offerings. Once all the players have filled their ships, and as I mentioned before, if goods leave the game, maybe not everyone will have a full ship. Or the deck is exhausted, one of those 2 conditions. The round's over, and it's scored. So the players with the most points on their boat, so I got those 5 cards numbered 0 through 5. What is my value? What is your value? We're going to compare those values. So if I had a boat worth, say, 15 points, which isn't bad, I'd probably earn some money for that. The amount of money is going to be, it's going to vary really based on the number of players in the game. But if I have the biggest boat, I'm going to earn $30. And when you start the game with $40, that's a pretty significant goal. Each player will then deliver those goods from their ship into the marketplaces on the board, where we're going to record how many of each type each player's delivered. So if my 5 cards were 3 spices, 1 grain, and 1 fur, that's what my delivery was. So for each one of those goods, I'd move up 1 notch. So I'd have level 3 on the spices, for example. And for each type of good, we're going to go through and in each day, each of the 3 rounds, and say, okay, who delivered the most spices? Who delivered the most dye? And those people, the person that delivered the most is going to get $10. The person that delivered the second most is going to get $5. Plus, there are some bonuses you can earn if you're really like delivering the hell out of some of those things. So, and then it's on to the next round, and that delivery record remains so that I can continue to deliver furs or grain or whatever. So this combination of how many cards should I put in this offering, and which players right now have how many open spaces on their ships, and how much money do they have, what are the numerical values on the cards that I'm drawing into this offering, what types of goods are in this auction versus on player ships, and it's this stuff that makes the valuations for the auctions tense and interesting.
And very enjoyable as well.
It is very enjoyable. Short too. I mean, 6 players in an hour.
That's unheard of for a non-party game. You know.
Yeah, and with the intense auctions, I really feel like I get a lot of bang for the buck for this game, and it's never the same game twice. Just because of the way people bid and the way the lots come out, and what are my tactics for this particular round.
I love the auctions in this game, but my lord, am I terrible. I am just horrible at this game.
I'm not very good either.
The next time I win it will be the first, I think, and I've probably played it half a dozen times.
Right on. So I mentioned I have that 2009 printing or 2007 printing.
Right. 2 years after it first came out.
Yeah, right. And there's been several printings in several languages and everything, and just about every graphic design choice in my copy and every copy I've ever seen has just been bordering horrible, if not horrible. The scoreboard, like in my copy, the scoreboard, the fonts, the artwork on the cards, the delivery area, just
not well put together.
No.
Okay, all right.
I maybe the 2006 Rio Grande's the least offensive. I don't know, but
I'll be honest. I think that's the one that I've played before. It has kind of that the like democker looking kind of track in the middle.
And the scoreboard's like brown and white.
Yeah, something like that. So that I'm used to that, so it didn't bother me.
Sure.
But I saw the copy that you got, that you guys were playing the other night at game night. That thing was just offensive.
Yeah. I'm curious as to what the listeners think is the best edition of Medici that one should own, because I would probably like to try to acquire that. So let us know what you guys think. It's not an easy game for newcomers, because it's hard to kind of grok the valuation progress at first. You know?
I was just going to say the valuations are going to be the real hard part to really, like, I have no frame of reference. What should I be bidding? You know,
but for what I get out of the game in the short period of time that it takes to play it, I really feel like it rewards repeated play, though.
Agreed. Totally. There's one downside. The random.
I know where you're going.
The game length makes it tolerable.
Absolutely.
Okay? With it only being, say, roughly 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes at most, probably. But the random tile draws, if you did your best guess and you bought that, 3 offer, and now you only have two spots available in your hold, somebody draws out 3 awesome tiles, you can't even bid because you gambled on taking a adequate offer earlier in the round. So that can be a bit frustrating when you just get boned by the luck of the draw.
Indeed, I feel like you can't be greedy, fill up your ship too soon. Just keep your options open, don't overpay. But even with those measures, it can still get you.
But maybe that's why we haven't won.
I'm always the first to 5. No, right. I think Medici is a Hall of Fame game. It's great fun. Yeah, really? It really is. I love auctions. Maybe I'm tainted, but great fun, interesting auction. Plays 6 in a short window. To me, and this is why, it's good heavy cardboard filler. We played, 5 of us played while you cooked.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Sure.
So it's like, we need to do something that'll last 40 minutes. Okay, great. Let's do but we still want to be challenged.
That's fair.
But so like, if you don't like auction games, you need to stay far away from this one, because it won't be a Hall of Fame game for you, because there's no theme here. This is an auction game. So 6 rating for me, Hall of Famer from Dr. Knizia.
For me, I would put it at the 4 level. I think it's the graphic design problems knock it down.
Okay, fair.
For me, plus, to be honest with you, if I want a short, heavy auction game, I'm going to pull out Neue Heimat before I would Medici. But if we have 6 players, I can understand where you're going with that.
Right on. That's Medici. All right, let's get into the meat. This list of anticipation games.
All right, so 2015 anticipation. Well, the rest of 2015 anyway. So welcome to the second annual Heavy Cardboard Preview Show.
Ding, ding.
Essen has come and gone, and while we're sad that we didn't make it, there is a lot to be excited about. With the exception of a single game, Food Chain Magnate, we have not gotten a chance to play any of the Essen releases, so it seemed like a good time to do our next preview show. This episode is going to cover the top games that we are most looking forward to between Essen and the end of 2015. This list will only include games expected to be released and playable in 2015 calendar year.
Expected to be playable, yes.
Right. So if a Kickstarter just started up, yeah, that's not going to be on this list. That'll be for next year. We plan on making this a biannual thing with one show early in the year and a second show probably in late summer, but likely a bit earlier than this one was. The format that we've chosen is to break it down into two mini lists, one for expansions and then the main list with the full games. We each have a number of games and we'll rank them on our 1 to 6 scale. However, this time using that scale for anticipation.
Right, anticipation. So we're not judging with our 1 to 6 scale how good we expect the game to be, although we're going to do that too. The anticipation scale uses that same 1 to 6 scale, and it's really like, how excited am I to get this game to the table?
Right, to try this game, to play it, and whatever.
So if it's a 1, it's only on this list to warn everyone off of the game. It's another one for the fire.
Likely not going to have any on here.
There was one, but it got cut. If it's a anticipation of 2, it's needs to be deleted from this podcast, because why the hell are we even talking about it?
Although, now keep in mind, let me preface real quick. You and I have made our individual list.
Yes.
We swap list for the games, but not anything else.
Nothing else.
Nothing
Just the
else.
Titles.
Right.
I know your titles, you know my titles.
Right.
And obviously there's overlap.
Yeah, there's considerable overlap, as you guys would expect.
An anticipation rating of 3 is we're, kind of, okay, maybe lukewarm on the game. Maybe we'll wait for someone else to buy it, try their copy before we plunk down our earned money to do so. A 4 means, well, you know what? I think I'd buy a copy of that just to give it a whirl and see what's going to happen. There's probably something unique or intriguing about the game. A 5 is I would really like to get this game to the table and play it. I really think it's going to be a good game in my collection.
That's like pre-order status.
Pre-order, yeah. And a 6 is the world's going to end if I don't play this game tomorrow.
Exactly.
It's going to be freaking awesome.
Food Chain Magnate, like we said, is not going to be on this list. We already got it. We've played it. It would have been a 6 for both of us. So just to give you a frame of reference.
Absolutely.
Okay? And we're really bad about ranking stuff. So we took the easy way out and listed them alphabetically instead of numerically.
Yeah.
So sit back, relax, and make some notes on games that hopefully tickle your fancy.
Get the popcorn out.
Let's get started with our expansions. We only have 2 of them that made our list. Mm-hmm. Tony, start us off.
The first one is Concordia Salsa.
Salsa.
There are 2 new maps. It's Concordia is Matt Gertz, and Salsa is being released by PD Verlag. 2 new maps, Byzantium and Hispania. New maps are always a great thing. There's new wooden pieces and city tiles for a 6th commodity, salt.
Which was super important back in the day.
Yes, indeed. There are 27 forum cards. The game write-up says, for new strategies to follow. And it is playable with the base game as well as the Britannia and Germania maps as well. So I enjoy Concordia. I don't know what you think of it. It is, I really dig the game.
I do as well. It doesn't hit the table as much. It's not one of those games that's just clamoring to get out on the table. You will play me type thing.
But we're Gertz fans and stuff.
It's enjoyable.
Yeah.
We both have this on our list. So,
I would play it more if not for the podcast and the directives that gives us, But,
right.
And, you and I, Heavy Cardboard, are not fans of mainstream game awards, but how Istanbul beat Concordia for the KDJ is Istanbul shit.
I'll buy that, sure.
So I'm particularly interested in the new maps and the salt.
Same here. The
The forum cards, kind of TBD. I looked through them in the rules, and There's some permanent ones, some one-time ones, but in general, they seem to be your standard Euro ploy to make the game easier to play by players under the guise of, oh, look at these cool tiles you can build an engine with. Like there were I'll call out two of the tiles. The player may trade 3 types of goods instead of 2. And another one was the player gets 1 brick and 1 food. It's just like free crap. It just seems to me to like soften, take an edge off the game.
Kind of.
So like that part doesn't interest me. But new maps and the salt, I'm down.
Okay, cool. So expected release is supposed to be November, December of this year. So look for it late this year.
My anticipation level?
Yes.
Is a 4. Tempered, and it's tempered because I'm not sure about those forum cards. Without the forum cards, it's a 5 for anticipation. You know what I mean? Like, and I guess I don't have to play with the forum cards. Didn't seem like you had to. So
okay.
I'm pretty excited about Salsa, actually.
All right. I have it as a 4.
Okay.
It wavered 3 or 4, but to be honest with you, if I'm going to put it on my list, it's got to be a 4 or higher,
sure.
Just by default, I would think. So, like I said earlier, it doesn't hit the table as much as I feel like it could. And so I know it's going to collect dust for a while if I do end up getting the
just
the
like
expansion.
my Britannia Germania map.
Right. And so that's kind of my hesitation about it. But yeah, it's more maps is always a good thing, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So, now, your expected rating, meaning what do you expect after having played it? This is just in the military, we call it a WAG, a wild-ass guess of what you think. And it would be fun to look back on this and be like, okay, what did you think it was? Was it higher or lower than what you thought it would be? So, you have it as a 4 anticipation, but what do you think your actual rating would be if and when you get it played?
A 4. I think that the new maps would be a 5, but having another resource may drag that down a little bit. I'm not really sure what that's going to do to the gameplay.
And that's exactly my thoughts on
So I'm balancing it out at a 4.
Same thing with a 4.
Right on, man.
Cool. So that's Concordia, Salsa. So next up, the other expansion we have on our list is Russian Railroads, German Railroads.
Yeah, man.
That's a mouthful. And when I saw the German railroads, I automatically thought German Railways, the Winsome game.
Yeah,
but
right.
No. All right, so designed by Helmut Olney and Lonnie Orgler, which are the 18XX designers who made Russian Railroads. Published by Hansum Gluck, and eventually Z-Man Games, which we all know that could be next month. It could be 2017. I'm exaggerating, but you get the idea with Z-Man
Probably
Games.
not by much.
So it's the first true expansion, save for the mini expansion, which consists of 3 modular expansions. And you know how I'm a big fan of modular expansions.
Sure.
New Germany game board, where route distances are not fixed.
Right.
It should add another layer of decisions into the game. And I love stuff to where it's not always finite, not always set in stone, always going to play out the same way every time. So that appeals to me. Plus, we just got done talking about more boards are usually a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, here's one. Next,
Yeah, I'm excited about the new board and the routes that it delivers as well.
Next, it adds coal as a resource, which makes existing things better, i.e. locomotives and factories. That's a cool way to, kind of personalize individual play.
Right.
You might be upgrading your locomotives, I might be upgrading my factories, and somebody else might be doing neither and doing something else, whatever. It just adds more different paths, I feel like it's going to do.
There's something about foundries, too. It says the foundries can bring in a decent income when they're fired with coal. So if you're not using them with locomotives and factories, I'm curious about the foundry thing.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
I saw someone wrote on BGG that it was pretty pricey, though, for what you get in the box.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Yeah. The last of the 3 modular expansions, and this is for those that have been wanting the solo game, the single ticket expansion, which makes it soloable.
I didn't even list that module.
Well,
I don't solo.
Our buddies over at Low Player Count podcast, I'm sure, are all over this.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's cool. And hey, I like the idea that it's becoming more inclusive as well, giving that option for solo gamers.
Inclusive to one.
You're right. Well, I'm saying to where they can play it as well.
Yeah. Pricey. You said you were getting back to that.
Yeah, so it could be overpriced for what you get. $40+ for what are 3 really small I mean, don't get me wrong. You have a board and you have the wooden components and stuff for
boards.
coal, but it just seems. My gut tells me that's a big number for a non, on its own expansion, a standalone.
Agreed.
Hopeful release. I say hopeful because it's Z-Man Games in November, December 2015. So look for it late this year.
Okay.
Anticipation level.
Yeah.
I wavered here, and even though it's on both of our lists, I guess I already have an exception to what I had said. My anticipation is kind of a 3, which is a little bit below average. Like, that'd be cool to check out, but And the one reason, and one reason only, is the price.
Okay.
Now, MSRP
This coming
versus,
from a guy to drop $250 on a game, and he's $40 is turning off your anticipation.
But it's for value. It's for what I get. And usually whenever I pay $250 for a game, it's because, it's super rare and out of print and hard to get and all that.
Do you think you're not going to get value out of...
It's just too much for an expansion, man.
Okay.
Bottom line, that's what it comes out to.
I can totally understand that.
So
what do you think it's going to do to the game in terms of rating?
Oh, I'm sure it'll end up being a 4. Mm-hmm. This is cool. This is good. I don't see a bad thing about the expansion, save for the price tag.
Right.
How about you?
My anticipation is a 5.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I don't care about the $40, I guess, but and I think that this may be an impetus to get RR back on the table. It's a pretty fantastic worker placement game.
It really is.
So and like you, I think the game rating will probably be 4 or 5 somewhere in there. I mean new stuff's always cool.
All right, so let's roll into the full games, which is the meat of the show now.
Yowza!
1914, Germany at War, designed by Emanuele Sant'Andrea.
Wow.
Hopefully I didn't butcher it.
Chinese, right?
No, he's Italian. I'm just not really good with foreign names. He's my buddy over at Vento Nuovo Games, who's hooked me up with. He's blocks in the East, blocks in the West, blocks in Africa, and everything. So first off, this checks a lot of boxes on my likes. Block war game, check. Strategic level game, check. World War I, check. And it's Vento Nuovo Games. Like I said, blocks in the East, blocks in the West, etc. So that's a lot of blocks it checks off, no pun intended. 2 to 3 players with two game options. The basic game, or you can add in the optional rules for a more detailed game. The production is absolutely beautiful. It's just like all the other games that they have put out. Just really high-end production quality for block war games. They have a great track record with the World War II games, so I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Again, I haven't seen the game. And the rules are out there, and the pre-orders are open. So for me, my anticipation level is a 5. World War I block game, sign me up, man. I'm excited. So this was on my list. It wasn't on yours. Go ahead.
My anticipation level is a 2.
Okay. So, 19, right?
A World War I war game. Do I get to dig the trenches or just... like, 1914 was the best 4 months of the war in terms of maneuver and strategy.
Because otherwise it was just trench warfare for the most part.
Yeah, so, like, if you want to play a World War I war game that models 4 months of the war, knock yourself out, buddy.
Okay. Would you be willing to give it a try, though?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's disappointing.
There's far more interesting block games and war games to play, I think, than 4 months of a horrific war.
All right, well, my expected rating, then, is a 5. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm basing this off of a lot of what I've read about the other, because we haven't gotten those to the table, but I'm really excited about it.
Cool.
So I assume yours is like a 0. Like you're just not. Yeah, it's just not you.
Yeah,
right.
just that little window of and that war in particular just not really tickling me. You know what I mean? I mean, that's really where that's rooted.
That's fair. I blame Dan Carlin for Hardcore History for getting me on this really big World War I kick and so on.
If it was the whole war, and the whole war was a war of maneuver and stuff like that,
like World War II,
might be interesting.
Okay, all right. Difference of opinion.
Agreed. All right, next game on the list. This was on both of our lists, or just mine?
Just yours.
Just mine.
Barely missed mine. Barely missed mine.
And that's Bretagne from Placentia Games and Postscriptum. It's a 2 to 4 player game, plays in about 120 minutes by Marco Pozzi. First off, I kind of dig the notion, the theme, or like we don't care about theme anyway, but building lighthouses.
Dude, I'm a huge lighthouse fan.
I know.
I am a fan of the theme, absolutely.
Here's what kind of weirded me out, though. This is from the rule book. There are 3 kinds of lighthouses: heaven, purgatory, and hell. Do they mean easy, moderate, and hard, or are we building like
Gates of Hell?
Gates of Hell lighthouses, or I don't know. But anyway, it looks like you're managing workers, resources, money, and weather to build these lighthouses. I didn't have time to really dig into the rules, just a cursory glance, and picked up that heaven, purgatory, and hell thing. Just kind of went, whoa. And it just looks like it has some potential to me.
I agree. There were 2 things about this game in particular that interested me.
Shoot.
First off, the theme, like we said, with the lighthouses. The second thing is, A, it's worker placement,
right.
And B, there's kind of this variable timing on when you can score, either when a lighthouse is finished being built or at the end of the game. I kind of dig the, you choose the bed you're going to lie in.
Yeah, cool.
So that's what interested me. It looks good. Unsure about who, if anybody, will pick this up. It's only available from the Italian publishers right now. Odds are, Game Surplus, you'll be able to get copies that way, provided because I don't think I heard anything about at Essen this being sold out. But like I said, it just barely missed my list.
My anticipation level and my presumed rating of the game at this point are both 4s.
Okay,
I think it, like I said, it has potential. Could be something cool. Really need to try it and find out.
I have both of mine as 3s because I think it'll have some stuff that, hey, that's pretty cool, but I just feel like it's just
could be another game on games.
Exactly. Yeah. That's my fear.
Right on.
But yeah, cool theme.
All right, Bretagne. Okay, next game, Burano. The designers are Sen and Ling. It's a 2015 release, obviously, from Emperor S4 Games. It's a 2 to 4 player, 120-minute game.
So I watched on the BGG feed. They had a whole bunch of games. There's another one that didn't quite make my list that was just absolutely gorgeous. I wonder if Taiwan is the next Portugal in a sense that the designers are, up-and-comers, kind of like in Portugal you had Nuno Santiago, Paulo, you had Vital, and all those guys. And I knew you were going to ask me that, and I took.
Never mind.
By the end of the show, I will have it.
Let me know what it is.
All right.
So with Burano, have you seen pictures of the island of Burano?
I actually looked them up when I was doing the research.
Dude, holy color palette.
It's vibrant.
Yes, it is. Shockingly.
But the game matches that.
It does. And that mahjong stacking and unstacking of cubes, the cube driven, they're pyramid driven. Yeah. Looks pretty cool, removing the free cubes and the way you stack. I don't think I've seen that in other games. Could this be the mythical innovation?
It very well could. I do know that this was on my geek list and kind of on my radar for the last few months. And it was more or less just kind of, that looks interesting. Yeah. Okay. And as we got closer and closer to Essen, the hype about, or the buzz around this game just got higher and higher.
Sure.
And at Essen, it was on everybody's, list of stuff, and it sold out like that.
Yeah.
At Essen. So that's a good sign, at least as far as...
It's a sign of the hype or a sign of some people have played it and spread the word a little bit or something. Right. My anticipation of Burano is a 4. I'm hoping that the game will also be at least a 4.
Both of mine also are 4s. I'm hoping it's higher. But
because
it's just
that unique mechanic.
Not just that, but I mean, listeners know I like kind of muted, color palettes on games. Like you look at,
What?
the Spielworks games. I
Right.
like that kind of mute. But I gotta say, this game super vibrant, super
Opposite of muted, right?
but beautiful in its own way, and really fits the theme that they're going for.
Appropriate to the island.
So I have it as both 4s in anticipation and expected rating. I expect it to be above average. But that said, if I was able to order a copy right now, I'd do it.
Absolutely.
Cool.
That's Burano.
All right, next up on both of our lists is the Diluvia Project. But let's face it, y'all knew it was going to be on mine for sure.
Why is that?
Let's see. Designed by Alexandre Garcia and published by Spielworks. There you go. All right.
2 to 4 players, 120 minutes.
The Earth is overpopulated, and the first sky city is now planned, named the Diluvia Project. So you manage the construction of this sky city. Let's see. Worker placement, Spielworks. Oh, and Vital Lacerda is a fan of the game. All right, I'm in.
Yeah.
Sold. All right.
That sounds cool. A couple of things that stand out for me with this title. Number one is the way the market works. Everyone has this little Zeppelin counter, and steampunk theme, I don't care, right? But it's some freaking weird Zeppelin.
Not lead.
No, not Led Zeppelin.
All right, okay.
Hopefully this game will not go over like a Led Zeppelin. You put your Zeppelin on a row or a column in the market, and then you could buy on your turn in player order. You can buy any number of the tiles from the market in your row or column. Just might happen that your Zeppelin and my Zeppelin and Paul Chad Zeppelin and Amanda Zeppelin there's some sort of intersection there, and I may be able to buy stuff even if I don't need it, just to deny it to you and everything. So getting to the market, selecting your rows, and having a little bit of business interaction sounds kind of cool to me. It does look kind of, other than that, maybe, standard worker placement, resource conversion to build buildings. But knowing Uli, it's probably pretty damn well executed.
Sure.
I think he's a good developer. So I think, therefore, it's worth investigation. I did see a Spanish BGGer put a comment up from Essen that was like, the buildings appear in order depending on the turn, so the game could be repetitive, and interaction is very limited. I assume he means from the players.
Right.
Each player can do his neighborhood and avoid trouble with others. So, whatever.
I also saw a comment from a fan of the show, Jimmy, who was like, "Hey, where is the interaction in this?" After reading through the rules. So that kind of gives me pause a bit. Mm-hmm. Not so much the lack of interaction, just you mentioned the repetitive, the lack of variability there. But it's a slight pause.
Uli said that this won the Hippodice Award for Gamers Game earlier this year, so that's kind of cool. He also said that the game mechanics are simple, but when they're put together, they make a heavy game. Now, Uli also told us that in Europe, Kraftwagen is considered heavy, so I'm kind of expecting really a medium weight game here. What's your anticipation on this?
It's a 5.
Okay.
You got a good mix of things for me. The worker placement, which I'm a huge fan of. Spielworks, I'm a fanboy. And honestly, Vital's kind of blessing of the game carries a little bit of weight with me.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm really excited about this. Now, my expected rating, what do I expect it to fall as? I think it'll be a 4.
Okay.
I have high expectations, but I don't think this is going to be ZOMG. This is going to be the greatest thing.
Not the next Darkrai.
No, I don't anticipate that. Hey, prove me wrong. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I'd love to be wrong on all these in a good way.
Yeah.
How about you?
Anticipation level 4
okay.
for me. Definitely want to see how it plays out. And I think the same as you. I'm anticipating the game rating to be probably around a 4.
Okay. That's the Diluvia Project.
So let's stay with the Spielworks theme for a second here.
I'm on board.
All right.
It just so happens they rolled alphabetically.
They did. Right. Haithabu is the next game on both of our lists, correct?
It's
on my, yes. Heidenheim and Molter are the designers. It's a 2 to 4 player, 120-minute game. Seems to be a common thing, 2 to 4 players, 120 minutes.
Right.
And again,
i.e. standard Euro
Standard
time.
Euro.
Right.
In Haithabu, it says it's named after an important Viking trading post and everything, and players are Vikings, and they're going to trade with the known world while also living through the changes and the dark days at the end of the early Middle Ages. In the game, the player is going to take turns performing individual actions on an action rondelle.
Right.
Okay, rondelle?
Right.
Okay, I'm listening. And what's most critical in the game is the timing of the action, because in each round, each color of action can only be selected once. This is from the write-up on the game. And the players, and here's where it really grabbed me again, the players must react to market price changes. And then here's where it lost me a little, and event dice that can cause complications. So I didn't know whether to get excited or get pissed off or what. I mean, I'm like, wow, I got to play this.
Sure.
It's Vikings too.
Well, yeah, I knew when the theme was Vikings, I knew you would be all over this.
Yeah.
You just like you knew, it's Spielworks?
Right.
Edward's going to be interested.
So let's just get the elephant into the room.
Okay.
Event dice.
Yeah.
The dice, this scares the crap out of me. The dice are going to cause market fluctuations. Okay, I can live with that.
Okay.
The implementation in Tinner's Trail, for example.
Sure.
Wonderful.
It makes sense. You don't know how the market's going to go turn to turn.
Affects everybody.
Sure.
Right?
Okay. I'm on board.
Here's the weird thing. The other thing the dice do. I don't know about this. When you take actions on the quote-unquote night side of the rondelle, I assume because doing things at night in a Viking town would be a tad more risky to your personal safety, you will roll an event die. And the events are kind of, in the rule book, they're there. They look to me like the worst kind of crap I dislike in games. Return a transport vehicle. All other players return one good. Return one of your characters. Receive one of blah from each other player. That crap's got no room in heavy economic games. Maybe this isn't that.
I think there's fair hesitation there.
You can buy a second die for 20 silver pieces. So now I can roll 2 dice and pick the least worst event. Right? So
right.
I have my choice. Do I want to lose a transport vehicle or a character?
Right. Or maybe everyone else loses something and gives it to you or whatever.
I guess I don't have to choose any night actions, but I'm assuming I have to because they're good actions. Plus, if you choose one and you roll an event dice that takes something from me, I really didn't mitigate crap there, did I?
Right.
So I don't know. Hey, the night side, it's a Viking town. It could be some thematic hullabaloo, but it sounds like hullabaloo to me. That's really kind of scaring me. Now, the market stuff, ILOVE market stuff, and there are 6 friggin' markets in this game.
Now, the board, just looking at the board and those markets reminds me of the markets in Arkwright. I'm not saying it has anything to do with one or the other, but just when I saw that, I was like, huh. So kind of, antenna goes up like, oh, really? So it got me definitely curious. My gut tells me that this falls into a similar weight category as maybe something like La Granja that they put out last year as well.
Sure, that sounds reasonable.
I think especially when you factor in these event dice, that it could be, implementing too much random in a non-positive way for the game, which is going to bring the weight of the game down. Anticipation and expected rating for you, sir.
Okay, I really want this to be a good game.
Okay.
And before I got a chance to peruse the rules, 5.
Okay.
After the rules, anticipation's kind of a 3.
Really?
The event dice
all because
stuff
of those dice
is just kind of weirding me out, It's going to be, I'm going to buy it, I'm going to play it, I'm going to check it out, because it's got everything I love in it, and Uli's a killer dude, and Spielworks is awesome, but it's got some stuff in there that really freaks me out. So I don't even know what my expected rating of the gameplay will be, because it's really going to depend on those event dice, man. This is going to be one for the fire, or one for the collection. I don't know.
Okay. I'm 4s across the board. I agree with you on it was really high until the event dice, but you know what? We don't know until we try it. It could be a total
Right.
We're getting worked up about something that really is a
I am
very
worked
minor
up,
part.
too.
I know. So yeah, 4s across the board for me, and I hope it's higher.
That's Haithabu.
All right. Next up is what might have been a Spielworks game, which would have put us 3 in a row.
Once upon a time.
Right. And that is Haspelknect, designed by Thomas Spitzer and published now by Quinted Games. So this is the 3rd game in the designer Thomas Spitzer's Cole trilogy. Mm-hmm. The previous 2 games in the series were Rochefort, 1769 to 1890, and Colon Colony, both published by Spielworks. However, Spielworks backed out, and so Quinted picked it up. No one is 100% sure as to why that happened. However, it makes me nervous. It gives me pause, the fact that, hey, here's this 3-game series, and now one is going to a different publisher. So that's my apprehension about the game. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get it because I'm going to complete the series. But Quinted Games isn't exactly known for heavy games. And the fact that the first 2 in the series very much are, this makes me think maybe this one won't be. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I love the theme, and I love the first 2, but I just don't know if this quite fits with the other 2. I hope that makes sense. Why my apprehension?
Yeah, it definitely does.
It looks great. It looks cool.
It might feel like one of those, a book trilogy where the author died after the 2nd and somebody else wrote the 3rd or something like that. I mean, hopefully not,
Not that we're wishing this on Mr. Spitzer here.
No, but it seems like the possibility of a disconnect from the first 2 is there, is what I'm saying.
Sure.
I definitely look forward to trying it. I like mining themes. The other 2 games I thought were okay. I really liked Risher for Fart. I do need to do Colon Colony again because I had 102 freaking fever when you taught it to me. And
yeah, that was a bad idea.
I had to quit and go to bed. I was
really
jacked
sick.
up,
right.
And so I had a horrible time. So yeah, and this one's got a hexagon layout on the board and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's gonna be different.
Right.
It's not gonna be like the other 2. The one is not like the first, or you know what I mean? So,
but they do have that theme, and the theme comes through on both the games, in my opinion. So we'll see how this plays out. I have it pre-ordered.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to giving it.
What is your anticipation and your other rating?
So my anticipation level is I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's a 4. It should be I'm hoping it's a good game. I'm really hoping that it's a one that stays in the collection to finish the series. However, my expected rating, because of my apprehensions and everything, I expect it to fall below average. I hope I'm wrong. Man, I want to be wrong on this. But yeah, that's it. It's a 4,3 for me.
Okay. Definitely a 4 in anticipation for me. I'm looking forward to playing it. Like I said, giving it a try. Definitely probably want to do Colon Colony again first.
Sure.
Just to get that one back in my skull.
Uh-huh.
But I just have no way to gauge what I think the game might be. Hopefully, I guess my guts are going to say, well, most games are 3s or 4s in the world. Really, in my opinion. So it's probably going to be in that area.
Okay. And that's Haspelknect. Next up, we have a game that we actually just got today in the mail. And that's Imperious Milenarios. Designed by Juan Carballel. Published by El Dragon Azul.
Yeah, what a cool name.
Yeah, I know it is.
The Blue Dragon.
Well, so this is an Argentinian Civ game. And I got to be honest with you. For the last 2 years, this has been one of my grail games. I have no idea how to play the game because didn't
even come with rules.
It did because they're translating the rules right now.
Unless you can speak Spanish,
right? And or read Spanish for that matter. And I can't do either of those.
Yes.
So it was impossible to get unless you got one of the limited quantities produced in Argentina. A reprint was announced earlier this year, and we've been lucky enough to get a copy. Thank you to El Dragon Azul. It's a Civ game with some deck building and role selection in it, and it's kind of a riff on Civ, but it's playable in 2.5 to 3 hours.
That's what thrills me right there.
It's I'm I'm fascinated by this game, and I have when I've seen the pictures of it over the last couple of years. The reprint should be available in the U.S. Probably in November. It's built like a collector's edition. It comes in a wooden box.
Yeah.
It has this eco leather.
Pleather.
Yeah, well, but it's nicer than
Naugahyde.
Yeah, it's just it's fake it's faux leather.
It's very cool. It's got the grainy texture and everything.
Right. That's the map, as well as the little player board things.
And parts of the box are covered with that too.
Right. So it's well produced. The rest of the pieces are all plastic. But yeah, I'm excited to get the rules and get this thing to the table.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything to add on that, sir?
Yeah. I didn't really know tons and tons about the game. My first time actually seeing the game physically was obviously tonight.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But I'd seen it. I'd done my homework.
Just beautiful, beautiful map. I'm a map freak, so I'm like, oh my god. And a Civ Builder game that can play in 2 to 3 hours. Civ Builders can be a little wonky sometimes. If you find a good Civ Builder, you found a gem. It'd be great if this was a gem.
Man, I'm hoping so. Plus, I'll be honest. It would be cool to see a game from a non-traditional game-producing area of the world. Yes. Not many games coming out of Argentina that I'm aware of.
Maybe Argentina will be the next Taiwan, which will be the next Portugal.
Right, exactly. So yeah, as far as anticipation level, what do you got?
A 4, because I'd like to say higher, and maybe it should be a 5, frankly, after seeing the box and the map. And understanding that it's like a 3-hour Civ game that's a riff on a much, 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 much longer Civ game, which is a freaking fantastic game in its own right. So, I'm going to go ahead. I have a 4 down here, but I'm going to change it on the fly to a 5.
Rock on.
And I have no idea. Like I said, Civ games could be wonky. This could be a 3. This could be a 2. This could be a 5. I don't know.
What do you expect it to be? Pick a number. Get off the fence.
All right, 4.
All right. So for me, anticipation level, it's been a grail game of mine for 2 years, dude.
Is 6 even high enough for you?
Yeah, right.
It's a 10.
It's very much a 6. I'm happy with the component quality that the second edition has. I don't feel like, man, I missed out, with the wooden box of the first edition and everything.
Right.
They kept true to that, and it gives you a collector's edition feel without it being a collector's edition. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my anticipation level is a 6. My expected rating, I expect this to be good.
Oh, nice.
I'm rating it.
I like your attitude on that.
I'm giving it a 5.
Yeah.
You know what? I hope I'm wrong. And by wrong, I mean it's higher.
Awesome.
I hope. So I'm giving it anticipation 6, expected rating a 5. And that's Imperious Milenarios.
All right, the next game on our list is Lignum. Both of our lists?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I back this.
That's right.
Early on. Yeah.
I've pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
The designer's last name is Humor. It's being published by Muka Spiele, and it's a 2 to 4 player, 120-minute game. Where have we heard that before?
Have we? That's new. Really.
Lignum,
Tell me more.
which is Latin for wood, sheep for lignum, is a game. It's a game for lovers of complex strategy games, is what they say.
Hi.
Yes.
Table for 2?
Ding. Garçon. After cutting and transporting your wood, don't think your job is finished. You still have to optimize your entire processing chain. When I read that, I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
Tell me more, right?
That sounds hard. I like that. If your supply lines are set up and the timber has been approved for felling, then the players can claim an area using secretly selected cards. Okay. Since each of the areas contains different amounts of food and wood, the players must learn to recognize and adapt to their opponent's strategies, because if multiple players in the same area, it's less to go around, etc., etc. And you have to decide how that wood that you would fell is going to be transported to their lumber yards by raft, by foot, by sled in the winter. I mean, that seems like there is your favorite word here, plethora of things going on about how to chop down your wood and get it to market. Like if a woodchuck could chuck wood, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck? And you have to think about new acquisitions, saws, sleds, pasture land, and fulfill orders to sell the wood, because in the end, this business is all about money. and whoever can make the most wins.
So a worker placement game about logging in the 19th century.
Yeah.
There's a theme you don't see too often.
No.
I dig oddball themes.
This is a weird hobby.
Yeah, isn't it really? I mean,
I love it.
I just think so what's the new game about? So stick with me. It's the 1800s.
Right. In Germany.
And you're a lumberjack.
Wait, where are you going?
Right. I know, right? God, we're such geeks.
I tried to explain an 18XX game to somebody at work, and they were like, huh? So anyway.
Cool decisions, look to be how to transport, the wood and whether to take the immediate rewards, or you have to decide whether or not to dry the wood out and get better rewards later. That seems just like a cool detail to not overlook.
No, you're absolutely right. That's one of those, how much money do I need right now, and how much can I afford, type of decision. Mm-hmm. That's really, really cool. J-Play, his video.
I was so thrilled when I saw that. I was like, okay, I'm happy I got this.
Here's the things that I drew out of his video. Loans. That kind of insinuates that money's tight and will be for me.
Right.
2, food and heat seems to matter. I might have to burn some of this wood, not sell it.
Right.
3, workers and tools and sometimes food combine to do things. I need a horse, and I need to feed that horse, and I need a wagon to haul that wood. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Okay.
And there is a scheduled tasks variant that comes in the game that looks to add an additional layer of advanced planning. So, I mean, there's a lot of things here that have me hopeful for the game.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of apprehensions. Like there's no event dice in this game.
Yeah.
As an example. So anticipation level,
okay,
and expected rating,
yes,
5s for both. For me,
yeah,
for me. What about you?
A 5 on anticipation.
Okay,
I sure hope it's going to be a 5. Might be a 4. I don't know.
I mean, it could be terrible. It might light it on fire. But this is what if I were to
light $130 on fire.
Or a lot less if you backed it.
Yeah,
but
I didn't.
So.
And what was weird is, like, at first I was kind of, whatever. And then, Jay Play's video got me into it and stuff. And so I've definitely warmed to this game.
Cool. Rock on.
That's Lignum.
So next up is the biggest game on our list.
Yeah. It's mega even.
It's massive. Mega Civilization. Designed by Flo de Han and John Rodriguez. Published by 999 Games.
Ooh.
So we had a Civ game that we talked about here a little bit ago that has been one of my grail games, and that's Imperious Milenarios. So, take Advanced Civ, change it up, put it on steroids, and make it way bigger, and you have Mega Civ. So there's lots of changes. But years of playtesting this game have gone into. It started with Advanced Civ, and everybody involved in the making of this game were lovers of Advanced Civilization, which is that, massive, all-day, 12-hour Civ game.
Right.
Well, they took that and then just took stuff out, added stuff, played around with it, morphed it, and it still has the guts and the soul of Advanced Civ, but now it's just streamlined and better in places in which they thought they could do better. So it plays 5 to 18 players. I want to see that in action. I don't necessarily want to take place in that game to take part, but I want to see.
I want to watch other people play it,
right,
and see what they're doing.
It plays 6 to 18 players in 6 to 15 hours, which 6 hours totally reasonable. So on the lower end of the player count for Advanced Civ to play in 6 hours would be phenomenal. That'd be unheard of. The cool thing about this, in my opinion, I saw this great unboxing video. And by great, I mean it was absolutely terrible. Because then I had to have one. So there was an unboxing video at Essen. And it looks incredible. It's supposed to weigh 22 pounds. It's about the size of my table. I don't even know if I have a table big enough to play it. I don't care. I ordered one.
Go to the gym, play it on the floor.
Right. Folks going to BGG Con can pre-order this at it's Spiel Pegasus, I think, or the 99. Look on the forums if you're interested. You can pre-order it to pick it up at BGG Con. Warning, it's a massive box, and it's 22 pounds.
Southwest will charge you an extra $50 just for bringing this game home.
It's not cheap also, as you might expect.
Yeah.
Big wooden box, ridiculous, but awesome looking. 199 euros. At least the Euro's weak right now, so that's good for us Americans.
Right?
So, do you have any input here?
Well, yeah, so bigger, right? Bigger, more, bigger. Not always a good thing, right? So,
agreed.
You know I'm a World War II nut, so the Germans had the Panzer Kampfwagen IV. That was a great tank. They said, man, more tank, more cowbell would be better. So they came up with the Tiger. They're like, man, this tank's awesome. So they did the Tiger II. Man, this tank is killer. We need more tank, more cowbell. So they came up with the Mouse, which never got past prototype. It was just a big slab of unmovable metal.
So
I hope this is not the Mouse, even though it made it past prototype.
Sure. For me, the thing that makes me think it won't be the Mouse in your example is the years and years of playtesting that went into this.
Yeah.
I have confidence that it's going to be a winner. I really believe that. The question is, maybe we only get it out on the table once or twice a year.
Like a Civ.
But I'm okay with that, really.
Sure.
This will be played, I assure you, at HeavyCon next year. And that will be a day at HeavyCon, and I am totally okay with that.
Hopefully we'll play it before that so I know if I'm going to do something else. Because my anticipation's a 3. I really don't know. I mean, this game's going to be a 2 or a 5 in implementation, I think. Again, when you find a good Civ game, it's a gem.
Sure. The 6 to 15 hour playtime doesn't scare me. I'm totally fine with that.
Playtime doesn't scare any of us.
Right, fair. Anticipation level
But I better get something for that.
Is a 6 because it's through the roof. Because this is so wow. You know, this becomes the showpiece of the collection. You know, expected rating? I expect it to be damn good. It better be a 5. You know,
better be.
Yeah. So that's one of my most anticipated games, Mega Civilization.
All right, the next game on our list is
No.
Oh, on my list.
On your list.
On my list only is a reprint of a game that has been OOP for a while, yet not reviewed by us.
Yet.
Mexica, the Kiesling und Kramer famous game. This one is produced by Yellow. It's a 2 to 4 player. 90 minutes on this game. And like I said, this is a reprint of a 2002 game, but it's fresh and beautiful. It's got resin temples. I mean, it's just like game piece porn. It's just it's an incredibly gorgeous game. The things that are attracting me to this game are the way that the board is constructed during play. You're with the temples and the canals and the bridges, how you're carving out little districts, they call them, and God, it just looks gorgeous when the game is done. You're looking at this board going, wow. It is definitely an abstract game, and the action points are there to spend with lots and lots of choices, and taking over districts, cutting off possibilities of other players. I'm into it.
It does look good on the table, I'll give you that. I'll be honest, though, I'm just not terribly interested in it. I hope to be proven wrong. I mean, it must be great, right? It's getting reprinted.
Oh, yeah, baby. So my anticipation rating is only a 4, actually.
Okay, all right.
And I'm expecting the game to be, I want to say 5, but 4, because it's not the kind of game that's going to get a lot of play, but it's going to be, let's jack each other up for half an hour. Okay.
For me, my anticipation is a 2. I'm sure the game will be fine. Like, obviously, it's a 13, 14-year-old game getting reprinted. There's got to be demand for it. So
right, it goes for a buck or two.
So I'm sure it's not the game, it's me, but I just can't get excited about it.
Sure.
That said, you get me to the table, you put it down. Odds are I'm probably going to enjoy it.
You fondle the temple.
Sure, I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. Cool. So I expect it to be rated a 4.
Okay.
But I'm just not into it. Like, you're going to have to be like, okay, let's play this. And I'll be like, all right, I'll give it a try, but whatever.
Right on. That is Mexica.
All right, now, one of the games that was off everyone's radar, except for Heavy Cardboard,
Yay!
For months.
And this is on both of our lists.
Yeah, this goes back to like March. I was excited about this game, even though there is super little info about there. And that's Mombasa, designed by Alexander Pfister, published by Pegasus Spiel and R&R Games for here in the States.
Yes.
Economic game where players invest in African trading companies during the colonial years. Again, not a theme you hear about much.
Again, this is a weird hobby.
Yeah, but that really appeals to me. Themes abstracted, and it's not really investigated, which is kind of a bummer that you don't go into the colonial, stuff that say
the deprivations.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, if you're going to have the theme, you know what I mean? So that's kind of a bummer, but whatever. One thing I will say that has me even more excited recently than I was with Mombasa previously, just going off that one line, the economic game, investing in African companies, right, is Masters of Venice.
Right.
The fact that R&R Games put out Masters of Venice, and we enjoyed that so much, I have pretty high expectations, even though I know very little about Mombasa. How about you?
Yeah, I guess it's a programmed action game, and I like some of that stuff. I like programmed actions. Have a few of those games in my collection. Cash and investments wins the game. Well, yeah, I'm into that. The diamond stuff, the diamond industry and stuff. So there's some thematic elements in there. I'm definitely looking forward to giving Mombasa a try. It's definitely not a kid's game from R&R.
Right, yeah, because some of their time's up and all that. But no. Anticipation level and expected rating.
4 for anticipation level, and I'm kind of I don't know. I have no idea. It's going to be a 4 or 5.
Okay. For me, it's 4s across the board.
Okay.
If there was a little bit more info out there, I think it could go a little bit higher. I don't imagine it would be lower unless there was something just
event-wise.
So yeah, 4s across the board for Mombasa. Next, we have what has become an annual placement on this list.
And this game comes out every year?
No, but the designers are on our anticipated list every year, it seems. Yeah. And that's Nuno Santiero and Polo Soledad. No, you know what? No, it's Polo Soledad and Nuno Santiero, because Nuno always comes first whenever we do this. And the game is Nippon. Published by one of our favorite publishers. What's your game?
2 to 4 players, 90 minutes.
So the track record of the designers and the publisher alone dictate I will buy this. The end. Yes. If I knew nothing else, you tell me 3 things. Nuno, Polo, what's your game? Sold. Done.
If you tell me, because I'm publisher agnostic, with all due respect to what's your game, because they're fantastic. If you tell me Nuno and Polo, sold.
Okay, fair enough. Economic game set in the transitional time in Japan, from feudal times up to the industrialization of the country. That's cool. That sounds fun.
Yeah. What kinds of industry to invest in? Ding. Hello. It says it's a fast-paced economic game with challenging decisions and 90-minute playtime. 90-minute playtime is kind of short for these two guys.
It is, because you look at Panamax, you look at Madeira, both longer.
They're a couple-hour games,
right? So yeah, I'm.
It sounds lighter than Madeira.
Absolutely.
Maybe Panamax weight?
Maybe a little bit lighter, because I think Panamax is heavier than you and I give it credit for.
The interaction?
Yeah. Just for average Joe, for non-heavy cardboard gamers. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think this is probably going to be a little bit lighter than both of those. Gorgeous graphics, like the box. Oh, my.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. I will say that I really like the stark contrast on their prototype board. The bright orange and dark, just black borders.
Okay.
They did away with that, which I'm kind of bummed. But it's the same artist as, it's What's Your Game. So it's Iannelli.
Oh, yeah, Mariano.
Yeah.
Mariano Iannelli.
So, yeah, excited about it. It's 5s across the board for me.
Well, there could be some a risky play factor going on in the game with this area influence. It looks like you could take some chances in your play, and it could cost you. And that sounds kind of cool. Definitely a risk of losing ground gained if you play too risky. And that
there should be some penalty to that.
That part sounds kind of interesting to me. My anticipation level is a 5, and man, I hope this game's a 5.
Sure.
I would like this game to compete for the elephant, the golden elephant. I don't know if it will. Might be a little quick or light for that, but might be a fantastic game.
As of right now,
don't say it.
There's just not a ton of games that scream Golden Elephant Award.
There's one.
Up to this point. Just saying, there's not a lot of them.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Nippon.
And the next game is, I'm really surprised this isn't on Edward's list.
I'll be honest. This time of year, I live on Board Game Geek, which a lot of our friends and everything know. So for you to come up with a game that I not only just don't have on my, but wasn't even on my radar.
I got 2 of those you said.
This
one and another one.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That just completely had no clue about. So yeah, tell us.
Nord is the game by Roland and Johannes Goslar. It's published by Kronberger Spiele. It's a 30-minute Viking-themed area control game. Okay. I'm looking for things that challenge me in a 30-minute period while we're trying between games and stuff like that.
But when I saw the area control, you were not a fan.
I'm not
of area control.
I don't want to play a 3-hour area control game.
But a 30-minute, maybe.
Right.
Okay.
And Viking themed?
Well, yeah, obviously.
In Nord, each player leads a clan, ordering workers and fishermen, performing attacks, uniting settlements, and providing their fighters with raw materials and food. Each player starts with 1 Jarl and 1 warrior in a settlement, and a typical game turn takes up to 3 steps, placing new workers, attacking settlements, and scoring points. The game ends after 4 scorings, and the final scoring of the treasures that the players hoarded throughout the game, most points wins. Jplay's video made it look interesting to me. It was kind of... it's a tile laying. You build a world with tile laying, and so it's going to be different every time. So the challenges of uniting the settlements and doing the different things it won't be static. And it's quick playing, and it's Viking themed. So that kind of got me interested in the game. It's not going to be heavy or anything like that. I'm always on the lookout for, as we've categorized, thinky filler.
Right.
Maybe this is some of that.
It looks like cute thinky filler to me is the way I have it written down here.
Anticipation level 4. If I don't however get it, whatever. But I'd like to.
Okay.
I think particularly like this is a game Matt Grippin and I would dig because we're both Viking freaks, right? So shoot, man, this game could be a 1. I don't know. We'll have to just see what it's going to be. It's not going to be a 6, I'm sure, for gameplay.
For me, anticipation, like I said, it wasn't even on my list, like on my radar, much less my list. I have it as a 2. Expected rating, I expect it to be probably a throwaway, like a game on a pile of games.
Sure.
I have it rated as a 3. For comparison, on the same level of game, Trombone, I would rate as a 3.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
I fully don't expect Nord to be in your wheelhouse.
Okay.
Yeah. That's Nord.
You knew Phil Eklund had to make the list here at some point. And next up, we have Pax Pamir. I guess you could also throw in the collector's edition of Pax Porfiriana. I'm getting that. I sold my original one because I'm getting the collector's edition of it. But we're not going to talk about that because it's basically the same game. So Pax Pamir, however, designed by Phil Eklund and a buddy of mine, Cole Whirl. I don't know if it's
Cruel World?
Cole Whirl or Whirly. I don't know how to say his last name.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Cole. Published by Sierra Madre Games, which is Phil Eklund. So it's the next in the Pax series after the wildly successful Pax Porfiriana. And instead of Mexico, players represent Afghan tribal leaders in, wait for it, 19th century.
Sweet.
Seems to be a theme this year. You notice that? With
Fighting the Brits and
games.
Russians, maybe.
We're told that there's enough differences between this and Pax Porfiriana to be familiar, but very much its own game. Long story short, I'm a huge fan of Pax Porfiriana. It's top 15 game for me. So couple that with a cool, unique theme, a topic not covered by much of anything, and the fact that I know the designer, it's high on my anticipation list. How about you?
Nah. My anticipation is a 3. Game will probably be a 3. And I'm not as enamored with Pax Porf as you are, and I'm sure that'll carry over to this.
Okay, that's fair. It's 4s across the board for me. And yeah, I'm excited to see the artwork and just the story that the game's going to tell. Because I'll be honest, I don't know anything about Afghan tribal leaders in the 19th century. And the thing I like about stuff like this is it makes me want to go investigate and learn. I'm the world's biggest, 5-year-old. Yeah. Why and how and stuff in that respect. And games like this do that.
In my miniature wargaming hobby that I used to be really into, the British colonial period in Afghanistan was one of my favorites to play. Man, those tribes,
like factions.
Yeah, like the Pathans are fighting against the Brits, and the Brits have Gurkha help and Indian help and stuff. It's just crazy fights, man. Wicked time.
Cool, rock on. So that's Pax Pamir.
All right, so the next game on the list is Porta Nigra,
and it's all you.
Kiesling und Grama. Stronghold games in the USA anyway, 120.
120 minutes?
Yeah. 4 players, what? I don't always love every K&K game.
Really? Hold on.
Kiesling und Grama.
I'm raising the bullshit flag. Oh, Nauticus. There was one.
But fine. I want to try them all.
Okay.
And this is one. And it's got the Torres-like plastic buildings. It looks kind of cool. It looks like it can be kind of neat. Plenty of choices seem to abound. It's another action point game. K&K like freaking invented action points, so they are the masters of that. One of our listeners in their email to us for the contest said that they're looking forward to this game too. And here's what John said, and I was like, I wrote him back, John, I'm gonna quote you on this, man.
Yeah, I saw that. Right.
He says it's no accident that action points and analysis paralysis share the same initials, and I just thought that was an awesome statement that I had to retweet, if you will. So anyway, not much to say about Porta Nigra other than it's K&K game, so I want to try it. Man, this is going to be a 2 or it's going to be a 5 or a 4. You know what I mean? My anticipation level's a 4. Not in any hurry to try it. The world's not going to end if I don't try Porta Nigra soon. But I would like to try it.
K&K's a mixed bag for me.
Yeah, same.
It looks cool on the table. I mean, all the pictures.
Yeah.
I mean, I've looked at it half a dozen times over the last number of months, and I want it. But I just get really a milquetoast feel to it. Anticipation level's a 2, and for me, I expect it to be a 3. Surprise me, but yeah, just meh.
Porta Nigra.
Next, we have The Producer, 1940 to 1944, designed by Manlio Zaninati, published by Apocalypse Inc. So it's a worker placement game where you handle most of the aspects of movie making during the time period in the game's name. That's cool to me. Beautiful production. I mean, wow, this thing looks just really, really pretty. But worker placement and cool production and unique theme. Okay, I'm in. However, I'm a little apprehensive because some of the initial feedback that I'm getting from Essen says it might have too much just take that, but it's not just take that or all take that. It's just to do it type thing. And too much basic stuff that people said just doesn't feel fully fleshed out. Now, that's super early returns, and, you know, a lot of people didn't like Craftsman also, and we loved it, you know, after Essen. So I'm still interested to learn more, but yeah, I'm a little apprehensive.
Man, I hope you're not drawing any lines to Craftsman on this.
No. I'm just saying that some of a lot of the early just talk and chatter on the Geek and everywhere else about Craftsman was really kind of as well. So okay, no, that's the only parallel I'm saying, that don't always be the initial discussion or initial comments can be misleading is all I'm saying. That's the only parallels I'm making here.
Well, the golden age of Hollywood is about the only thing that could remotely interest me in this game.
Okay.
My anticipation level's a 2. I expect it to be a 1. Event cards. Okay. And Mafia. Okay. Those things just telegraph, take that. Not I'll take that, if you remember our discussion, right? There's a random draw of audience tokens. Okay, so there's a random demand draw in Automobile. It's within a fixed range, right? It can be dealt with and everything. There's different kinds of audience members. You don't know what the hell's going to come out of the... and it says it's a 3-hour game. Yeah, you let me know how it is, buddy.
Yeah, like I said,
that's too much crap for a 3-hour game.
My initial interest was high. A lot of it based on, you know, the production quality, worker placement, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I have the same apprehensions. As I read more, it got lower.
Yeah.
I almost kicked it off the list.
I wish you had.
But to be honest with you, I had mentioned this when I was over on Robin's show on the Whose Turn Is It Anyway podcast, and I mentioned this, and I was like, I feel like it would be a bit disingenuous if I didn't include it here. That said, reading more and more, anticipation's waned. I have it as a 3, and I expect it to be somewhere in the 1 to 3 range, to be honest. I'm hoping it's higher, but don't have high expectations. I'm not going to kill myself to go look for a copy of this. And that's The Producer, 1940 and 1944.
Next game on the list is another one that I think surprised you. Royal Goods.
It completely did. Absolutely.
It's an Alexander Pfister game who's been a little bit hot lately.
Yeah, it's the second game on our list.
The publisher, kind of. They're really not going to do a great job of publishing it because you actually can't buy it from them. Österreichisches Spielemuseum, which is the Austrian Game Museum. It's just a 30-minute game here. It's a card game. And here's my hope. Thinky filler with a tech tree. That's what I see in this game. You have cards that can be used in one of 3 ways. Okay. As a resource, as a building, or as a good, face down, right? The buildings have a production chain on them where you convert resources into better things. Here's what it says in the rules. Here's an example of the shoemaker card, the shoemaker building. If the shoemaker produces shoes, you can make additional shoes from leather you produced earlier. Move the cards from your tanneries to your shoemaker, turning those cards into shoes. Great deal, since shoes are worth 8 coins, but leather is only worth 6. So it's like it's looks like it's got some tech tree, thinky filler potential there for me. So it's going to be hard to get a copy, though. They're not shipping it. Like, if you didn't go to Essen, you're not getting it, kind of a deal is what it sounded like to me. So if anybody out there is listening and you have a copy of Royal Goods and you don't want it anymore, send me a geek mail, send me an email. I want it.
Or let Tony borrow it.
Forever.
And by Tony, I mean us. So I wanted to write it off, to be honest with you, but looking at the picks and everything, seems like a good bit of, thinky filler. Yeah. It really surprised me, I got to be honest. For exact reasons that you said. And now my anticipation has gone up to a 4, and I feel it's going to... My big apprehension on this is the quote-unquote publisher.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It needs maybe real publication.
Right.
Because it's not getting that.
So I'm going to say it's probably going to be forgettable in a 3 range.
Maybe.
But hey, prove me wrong. That'd be great.
Here's what I'm hoping. It's the thinky filler that, comes to my mind for card game is Arboretum, right?
Sure.
Could this be like that thinky filler level, but it's kind of like got craftsman-like buildings with check trees and stuff. That would be pretty cool.
That would be sign me up.
So my anticipation's a 5. Temper that because I'm expecting it for filler. A 5 for filler. That's not.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
And gosh, hopefully it'll be right up there with a 4 or 5 rating
on
for
par
filler.
For filler. Right. Gotcha.
That is Royal Goods. Okay, next game is Ships. The Tree Frog 2015 Martin Wallace game.
And the same one that was on our list last year.
Yeah, but it's real now.
Right.
I'm going to reverse my talking here. I'm going to say right now, anticipation 5.
Okay.
I didn't spend a lot of time preparing things to talk about on this game, just simply because from what I've seen, I'm going to purchase it. I'm going to play it, and I'm going to decide how much I love it or not, right? It certainly seems lighter and has less unknown information than Automobile, which the game it looks most like. It
looks
square.
identical in that respect.
Right. It definitely looks to have the things that I like about Automobile: progression of technology, obsolescence of older ships, things like that. It's definitely going to be. It's going to be one I'm going to buy. One I'm going to play and see where it goes from there. So my anticipation level's a 5, man. Like, if I could buy it tomorrow, I'd buy it tomorrow. Hopefully the game will also be a 5, but I really don't know. Actually, I really don't know. Sometimes Wallace for me is kind of like K&K for me. Okay, these are great and these are not so much, right?
After the Flood, that's all I gotta say. Totally disappointed by that game. So I feel you.
Yeah,
I also have it as
half of his catalog I'm not interested in.
Exactly. Anticipation level's a 5. I'm hoping it's a 5. The one thing that I kind of want to step back from what you said, I would agree with everything that you said except for one thing.
What's that?
I don't know that it necessarily looks lighter than Automobile. I would say on par. I'm very curious to see how it all plays out.
Totally.
I mean,
and I did say seems lighter.
Sure, I get it. I will be buying it. I will be buying the limited edition version because it's Tree Frog and that's what I do. Mm-hmm. I like wooden bits in my Tree Frog games like that. But I gotta say it could go either way. I really don't know, but I'm hoping it's a 5. Anticipation 5, hoping it's a 5, and shame on Martin not sending us a review copy. The end.
That's Ships.
All right, next we have a game that's only on my list, which kind of surprises me, but maybe not.
No, doesn't surprise me.
Signorie, I think is how you pronounce it.
Oh, Signore.
Designed by Andrea Chiavesio and
nice.
Pierluca Zizi.
Zizi.
I apologize on the names. I'm terrible at them. Published by, again, What's Your Game? It's the second game on this list for me. So, has a cool dice placement mechanic, and it looks great on the table.
Does look good.
The theme, I could go and put, whatever.
Sure.
The cool dice placing mechanic, and it's What's Your Game? That's all I needed to say, all I needed to hear, and I was excited about the game.
Okay.
And our buddy Paul Grogan had a hand in it as well.
Sure.
So I'm excited. Anticipation levels a 5. Realistically, I expect it to be a 4, and hoping it's higher. I mean, obviously, I hope all these games are 6s.
Sure.
I'd be surprised if any of them are.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying.
Hopeful for one.
Huh?
Hopeful for 1 or 2. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. Not hoping for a rating of 1.
No.
Gotcha. All right. So tell me why you're not in favor of this.
So Signore is a 2 anticipation for me. And it gives me a reason to talk about this game and 2 other games that did not make my list for the same reason. So Signorie, Grand Austria Hotel, and My Village.
My Village, I expected to be on your list for the same reason that a game like Porta Nigra is and stuff like that. I really thought it would be.
The theme that Signorie, Grand Austria Hotel, and My Village have is the dice drafting of actions and stuff like that. And La Granja really kind of put a fine finish on that, right? It's like, you know what? It's not what I'm into.
But Madeira has it, and you love that game.
No, well, I mean, that's got a lot more meat on the bones to that, and there's more things. It's what you can do with the dice. Whereas in La Granja, it's like, hey, if no one rolls it in twos, no one's doing that. It's that there is a subtle difference there. So Signorie, Grand Austria Hotel, My Village, all the same for me. A 2. Hey, I'm going to play them. I'm going to try them because that's what I like to do. Not all dice rolling is bad. I just think that these are more like family game level, not heavy game level, heavy cardboard level or anything. So,
well,
yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, you know what? I was going to point out stuff like Nord or whatever, but at least those are thinky fillers. So
right.
I see what you're saying. Okay,
yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm not expecting those to be heavy cardboard.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. So Signorie. That's our take on it. Next up is a game that's only on my list, which I don't understand, but I'm sure you'll explain it.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
And that's Through the Ages 2.0. Designed by Vlado Chvátil, published by Czech Games Edition. It's a revision on one of my favorite games. Apparently less emphasis on military. But just the way it sits on the table and the revisions and everything, I'm cautiously optimistic, but you're messing with one of my all-time favorite games. Mm-hmm. It makes me a little nervous about it because I don't know that it needed fixing, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Like Martin Wallace is coming out with a Steady and Emerald 2.0. I don't know that it really needed fixing. So I have an anticipation level of 5, and I expect it to be, it's either going to be a 1 or a 6 for me. For the simple fact that Through the Ages, as it is, the copy I have, is one of my all-time games.
Yeah.
So it's a 6 for me. However, I don't know what they did to it.
Sure.
And Paul Grogan swears to me it makes the game better. So I'm cautiously optimistic. So tell me why it's not on your, or tell everybody else too, why it's not on your list.
Well, anticipation level is a 6 for me on this game because I really want a copy of it. And I guess maybe just some mental block, some mental deficiency I have. I just left it off my list because in my head I already own it. Because I would buy the current edition months and months and months and months ago.
If this wasn't coming.
Right.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that makes any sense, but...
So it was a foregone conclusion,
right,
you're saying.
right.
All right.
And I don't know. I probably should have put it on my list and said that. But thank you for putting it on yours and calling it out. But yeah, I purposely have not bought a copy just to wait for this one. So.
And I purposely have not sold my copy until I try this
just
one.
In case.
To see if I'm okay with the changes.
Yeah.
And if I end up having to just give it away, the old edition, because the new one makes it superfluous or whatever, fine, I'm cool with that. But I wasn't willing to get rid of it yet.
Fantastic game.
Yeah, Through the Ages.
Okay, Tin Goose is next on the list. This is on both of our lists, right?
Oh, way up on our lists.
Matt Calkins of
Sekigahara fame.
Rio Grande is putting this out. It sounds like it's about 30 minutes a player for this game. So, Tin Goose is a game about the early years of commercial air travel, and that sounds kind of cool. Beginning as a regional operation with just an airmail route and a Tin Goose, the Ford Trimotor, the players build an airline empire through the 30s and 40s. All right, this is sounding, like, hey, 18XX, networking and privates and, and stuff. It's not going to be like that, but that's the feeling I get from that. As the game progresses, the planes improve, they're safer, more fuel efficient, etc., while having longer range as well, right? The companies are going to become more organized and shed their early inefficiencies. And the stakes of a disaster, crashes, strikes, oil shocks, I assume they mean like the fluctuation in fuel cost or something.
Right.
Will get higher. So there's a deck of 96 cards in this game that include all of the planes and events that enter the game.
Event decks.
Of these, only about 36 are played in any given session. So, and all of those are going to exist in player's hand at the outset of the game. So, somewhat perfect, but imperfect information, I guess, right? The result is a game of calamities with more planning and less luck. And in my head, I'm trying to figure out what the hell that means, because it sure seems like there's some luck in calamities, but we'll have to see what cooks, right? A skillful player seeing high bids on the safest planes may guess that several players are holding crash cards. Okay, that freaks me out a little bit. Crash cards. Take that! Hey, you're 747? Yeah. Poof. I don't know. Tin Goose is a business game that features balance between greed and fear, it says, without random events. Sekigahara designer, so that's a definite vote in its favor.
A huge vote in its favor.
Here's what kind of freaks me out. A war game designer is designing a card-driven business game. Well, okay, business is not that unlike warfare in many ways. I just hope the targeted take that of these event cards in a player's hand is not too warlike, or I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Here's a war game card. Your general was killed in battle. Here's an airplane business card. Your 747 just crashed. I don't know, man.
It doesn't quite fit, is what you're saying.
Player-driven targeted screw cards, take that. Not I'll take that. Can be kingmakers and can be used erroneously. Usually not in my wheelhouse. So I like so much about this game, what I hear, and I worry about aspects of this game.
So a lot of this, it's funny. We were talking about Martin Wallace's ships a minute ago,
right?
And I really get
it's got cards in there.
I get an automobile feel with this game. Just the description. I'm sure it's probably nothing like it, but I have some reservations about this as well.
Tin Goose.
Yeah, about Tin Goose, right. Where's the hype? Where's the buzz? Where's the information about this? We've been asking about this.
Well, Rio Grande's a small publisher. Maybe. No. There should be some.
There's nothing for months. That worries me. Is Rio Grande dropping the ball? Or they just don't have? Is it just? I don't know. But the fact that there's just nothing out there,
it's not Dominion.
Me. Right. Well, there are a lot of smaller games. Burano, that's Taiwanese, but there's tons of buzz around that. And granted, that just came out at Essen, but I wonder where this falls. My point is, I get an automobile feel about it with the calculated gambles and being able to read what other people are doing and trying to gauge how important something is, kind of like how the distributors work in automobile. That's where I get that kind of feel and the progression in technology. I mean, designer of Sekigahara, I ears perked up at that.
Sure.
I'm really excited about this. Anticipation levels a 6. It is through the roof.
5 for me.
But just where's the information on this game, man?
Yeah.
I'm
totally uncertain. Like the anticipated game rating.
Yeah, I have no clue.
I can't even fathom.
I threw a 5 out there.
I sure hope so.
But it could be as bad as a 1 if it just lays an egg. So I don't know, but I am excited. Where's the info, man?
That's Tin Goose.
All right, we're winding down. We're down to the last two, and they're both on my list and not on yours.
That is correct.
First up, Trickerion, designed by Richard Amon and Victor Peter, published by Ape Games and Mind Clash Games. Gorgeous worker placement game with a cool theme of magicians in the 19th century. You're right.
Yeah, that's a popular century for board games.
It sure is this year, it seems. So that Anyway, I backed it on Kickstarter, and in my opinion, it's going to compete for best artwork of the year of any game that comes out. This sent the Twitter world and BGG afire back during the Kickstarter campaign. It looked too good for me to pass up, and it's a worker placement. It has a lot of things that I'm apprehensive about as far as the card draws and all that stuff.
Ding!
I get that. But you know what? I'm willing to give it a try, and I knew that if I don't get a copy, you're not getting a copy. So if I want to try it, I had to back it. So here we are. Anticipation level, a 5. Expected rating, it's either going to be a 3, 5, or 6. The end. So go ahead, crap all over my my anticipated game. What?
All right, Trickerion. So my anticipation level is a 2.
Okay.
I really just have no interest in this game. I will try your copy.
Okay.
I will play the game. I really just don't have any expectations. And here's why. Here's what I read. Quote, when you like drumroll, Colosseum, and Shakespeare, you'll probably love Trickerion. Quote, think Fresco, Pillars of the Earth, and drumroll. These are not the comparisons that I'm looking for in a game. Now, having said that, Fresco, hey, cool family game, right? The rest of those games, dull. Maybe this would be a good family game. I don't know. I got a ton of those things. I have no expectations, no anticipation, no desire other than I know you want to play it, and so I want to play it with you.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks to the pity game.
So maybe I'll be surprised.
Sure. I mean, you wouldn't have.
How long is this game?
About 90 minutes to 2 hours. So a typical time, length time.
Some of the weird things might be tolerable in that. Yeah.
Could be. We'll find out here soon because it was for sale at Essen. None of us backers got ours yet. Nah, should be next month. That's fine. They need to sell. No worries. That's Trickerion. So let's just roll into my last one for you to crap on.
No, come on.
Which really disappoints me, dude. I got to be... Hold on. It's U.S. Civil War, designed by Mark Simonich and published by one of my favorite publishing houses, which is GMT Games.
P.S. I'm a Civil War junior historian. I love the Civil War.
So, when I know you're going to crap on my...
I'm not going to crap on this game.
Large, 2-player strategic Civil War game. Yay strategic for me.
Yeah.
And yay Civil War for you. I'm not a big Civil War buff. Like, I that and Napoleonics, for the most part, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm on both sides, both ends of that. You know, give me ancient Rome, give me modern, 20th century fighting. So my thinking, and the reason it's high on my list, the strategic aspect of it, of being able to do the whole U.S. Civil War from a zoomed out standpoint. Yes, sign me up. And the fact that I think it'd be a blast to play you and I. I think that's the whole reason I want the damn game.
Sure.
So your turn. Go ahead.
Hey, this is another 19th century game.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
So it's Hex Encounter, and really, like, in my young adulthood, I've just played myself to death on that.
I totally get that, and that's why...
So that's my block, right?
Okay.
Now, you did say this is like a minimal kind of...
A lower... It's not going to have stacks of chits. That's
sure.
Any game like that, I steer away from because I know I will never get it to the table with you. Well, that's why. Part of the reason
dude, I want to play Supreme Commander. I want to play Unconditional Surrender.
Sure,
because minimal chipset or tile set or whatever.
Counters.
Boo, sorry.
And I'm hoping this is similar in that respect. There will be a lot, a reasonable amount of counters, but it's the entire, U.S. as far as the Civil War goes.
I'm going to give you one reason I will play it and one reason I won't play it. How about that?
All right.
One reason I will play it. The write-up says that some of the inspiration from the game came from the old Victory games, The Civil War by Eric Lee Smith. I played the hell out of that game as a young adult. Awesome, man. The way generals promote up. And the Peter principle was there, too. A.P. Hill, great division commander. When he became a corps commander, just like in real life, he kind of wasn't so great. So like...
He over-promoted, or he got over-promoted.
Right, and so they really had some cool things. Here's the flip side of that. The South has no chance, man. Like, that has to be one of the most difficult games to produce a strategic game of, or one of the most difficult periods, rather, to produce a strategic game of that 2 players can play. Now, that being said, I don't really care, right? I'm not going to play a Civil War game, let's say I'm the Confederates, and expect to win.
Sure.
I'll still have fun playing it, right? But so the game's going to have to be awfully good, and just given the circumstances of that war, it's gonna be really hard to pull off a strategic game because, like, if you're not McClellan, right? Okay, war's over in 62.
Right.
Okay, so don't know what kind of game is there.
All right, well, you're at least willing to hear it out and see how the reports come in once it comes out. All right, so that's my anticipation level and my expected rating are both 5s. This has been on my list since I made my original Anticipation Geek list back in February or March of this year. I have been looking forward to this for the better part of 6 months, and so I'm going to get it. I'm going to hold on to it.
Okay.
And I'm going to wait for you to read up on it and see if you're willing to give it a go.
Let's just play it.
Oh, I'm game.
All right.
So
you heard it. It's live.
All right. So that's our last game on the list, and that's U.S. Civil War by GMT. So real quick, before we start to wrap things up.
Yes, sir.
I went back when I was doing all my prep for this, and I looked at last year's list. Which was pre-Gen Con, and it covered more time and more games. It essentially had 47 games and expansions on it. So I broke it down here.
All right.
12 of the games I would consider being on the 4 to 6 range on our ranking scale, which would include our Golden Elephant winner, which is Arkwright, but it does not include Three Kingdoms Redux, which it wasn't even on our radar when we made that list last summer. 26 of the 47 games on it would fall in the 1 to 3 range, i.e. meh at best, or a total lack of interest about learning more about it.
See, I think that's like evidence of the heavy cardboard hypothesis, whereas it's a bell curve. Most games are just a game on a pile of games.
Yep.
And then there's an extreme few that burn them, and there's an extreme few that are just
special
gold-plated winners.
Right. So the sad thing about this, and this is just the nature of anything that has a release schedule, there are 9 of those 47 games. So almost a full fifth, so 20% are either on this list or still not even going to come out in 2015.
Yeah.
C'est la vie.
Wonder how many of those will never.
Hopefully not many. Yeah. But anyway, I found that interesting looking back on that. So what this tells me is maybe a third of these games are going to be a 4 or better at best on our list.
Okay,
so
interesting.
It'll be interesting to look back then next year on this year's list. So that I think that'll be a lot of fun.
I look forward to that.
Cool.
Let's wrap up episode 34. Tell everybody how to contact us once again, please.
All right. Our email, contact@heavycardboard.com. We love hearing from you guys, and we try and answer all the emails that we get, so please hit us up. Also on Twitter, @heavycardboard. Facebook, heavycardboard. The web, heavycardboard.com is our website. Our guild, BGG Guild, number 2044. We're at like 470. Come join the discussion. It's a lot of fun. We got a really good group of people on there.
Yes.
So we'd love to have you all there.
And before we get out of here, one more time, thank you, Game Surplus. You guys are fabulous. Great games, great folks. Excellent inventory. Looking forward to their SN acquisitions myself.
Yep.
www.gamesurplus.com. Tell them Heavy Cardboard sent you.
Don't forget, you can email them and ask for any games. If there are SN games that you might think are hard to get, email them. If there's enough demand, plus we're going to chime in with our wants to Velma and crew. The more demand, the more chances they'll try and get it over here.
All right.
So that was fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and hopefully we either put some games on y'all's radar or took some off, depending on your point of view.
Yeah, it was some interesting discussions, I think, on a couple of those games in particular.
I agree, but the folks will let us know. So next episode 35, because this is coming out a few days later than normal, there are 3 weeks in between this episode and episode 35, which will be Food Chain Magnate, and we'll catch y'all in 3 weeks. Look for the episode, I believe it's November 5th. 2 weeks before BGG Con.
Happy Halloween then, y'all. Good night, Edward. Good night, listeners.
Later, y'all.